Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 3 just got a massive update thanks to an interview that we have access to. We'll be discussing that and so much more in today's video. But before we get into the topic, my name is Isaac, and if you could drop a like and a subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. Now without further ado, let's continue. The person being interviewed is Masayuki Hirano. He worked at Bandai Namco Entertainment, and he was a producer on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, and also oversaw development on Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2. So we can at least assume that the person that's in charge of Xenoverse 3 knows what they're doing. Just so you guys know, I won't be reading the full article, but I will be linking it down below, and this video is more about the extracts and the little highlights of the article that I found most interesting. Starting off with, can players take part in the main story mode seamlessly online with their friends, or is that strictly reserved for separate multiplayer missions? Masayuki Hirano will respond saying, "The main story mode is structurally designed as a dedicated single player experience, much like Xenoverse 1 and 2. This campaign is focused entirely on the GS squad, think of them like the Time Patrol, dynamic, your custom avatar unique journey and exploring the narrative. However, there's an entirely separate massive pool of co-op and competitive missions specifically tailored for the online environment." And I just have to say that what I'm most excited for is the co-op stuff, because I've played pretty much every single Dragon Ball fighting game out there, even the really bad ones, and I've always just fiend more for some more multiplayer cooperative games where it's not a PvP, it's not a battle royale, no, it's true co-op. And I know we had these co-op missions available to us in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2, but let's face it, at the end of the day, it kind of felt like a giant arena fight where several characters would be fighting one giant monster, and it just didn't feel as good as it could. How central is multiplayer focus to Xenoverse 3? Now, for those of you who do not remember, Xenoverse 2 was very story focused, and it's only after a couple of months when the game was done that they started updating it. And I mean, now 10 years down the road, there's been so much multiplayer content that has been added over these past 10 years that Xenoverse 2, I would say, is a good like 80% multiplayer focused and 20% single player content focused. And this time around, I would say it's a clean 50-50 split between the single player narrative and the online multiplayer suite. Xenoverse occupies a very unique genre space because it has definitely a high engaging campaign, but also functions as a massive online sandbox to tackle with friends. Both sides of the game receive an equal amount of deep focus and development resources. I have to say I'm really excited for this, because also I did see online that the story was going to be between, I think, 20 to 25 hours. So for any no-lifers like me, that's probably going to be a solid 15 to 20 hours maximum. But regardless, the fact that a Dragon Ball Z game is coming out with a good 25 hours, and like at the end of the day, this is not your regular online service game, but this is an online service video game. So they might add more things to the single player mode as well in the future, and I gotta say that I'm 100% here for that. This next question I found a little funny, because anybody that's a hardcore Dragon Ball fan already knows the answer, but what is the significance of setting the game in the age 1000? Why go with a specific year rather than say 300 or 500 years after the earlier title? Now, anybody that knows the story of Dragon Ball Age 1000 or the Dragon Ball in general, Dragon Ball Online, would know that the Age 1 is a reference to Dragon Ball Online from way back when. Masayuki Hirano replies, "First off, I cannot overstate Akira Toriyama since his immense involvement in the development of Age 1000 itself. From the overall worldwide to the new character designs, he collaborated with us on almost every aspect, laying the foundation for this game's sandbox. We wanted to jump into the future because Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2 focus heavily on traveling to the past to fix history. For the third entry, we wanted to look forward. Xenoverse has always been about delivering a complete new Dragon Ball experience that people haven't seen before. Setting it hundreds of years into the future provides an entirely unknown territory for the fans and for us creators to explore." I have to say that I'm really excited for a new Dragon Ball story, because just re-going and rehashing the story of Z over and over again, and like, listen, I'm the first one to say it, I love Dragon Ball Z, I love Dragon Ball Kai, I love Dragon Ball GT, Daima, and even Dragon Ball, I love them all. But to redo the same story over and over and over again. Come on, I've been following this series since I'm 10 years old. It's been 20 years of the same thing. Let's move on to a different story. Personal identity has always been the heart of Xenoverse series. What can you tell us about the character creation and customization upgrades this time around? Character customization is the absolute core pillar of the franchise. Players want to express exactly who they want to be when entering the Dragon Ball universe. To facilitate that range of customization options in Xenoverse 3 is significantly wider than the first two games. Yeah, in the trailer we can see multiple body types, different hairstyles. We see Tap the Saiyan with the pompadour, and then we see the other Saiyans with them, the other delinquents. They also have pompadours, but it's a straight up different model. If you look at their tails, even their tail is a different color than Tap's. And this is just the beginning, and so far I'm pretty sure almost all of the characters while in West City are all wearing different outfits except for the delinquents. It's only once you get into the store that everyone's wearing their superhero costume, but as of right now the customization looks fully just stacked. This mechanical expansion extends heavily into fighting styles. In past entries players built felt rigid. This time we want to accommodate highly specific combat desires. If you want to play a long-range zoning style like Frieza, an aggressive up-close brawler like Goku, or use unique tactics reminiscent of the Ginyu Force, the suit is built to support those individual preferences. As you guys saw maybe with the scans or in the trailer, there are straight up different fighting styles. Think of Jump Force, where you could either choose ninja, alien, sword fighter, or pirate, and you could either like base your moveset off of Luffy, Goku, Ichigo, Naruto. And it seems like they want to do the same thing around. I'm hoping that they're going to give us access to all of the Dragon Ball characters. I don't think we're gonna have access to everything from the very beginning. We're probably gonna be able to choose from like a very small main cast, and in the future as we complete missions and have new mentors, we'll get more fighting styles as we learn from them. We're most likely gonna unlock their fighting styles along with their outfits and techniques, and then eventually when the game gets DLC, because the game is for sure gonna get DLC, we're going to get even more fighting styles in the future. And we're going to be finishing things off with this last question. How many different fighting styles and character races have you showcased so far, and can you tease how many more are planned for launch? When we initially mapped out our development, we experimented with a traditional subtraction style system, meaning choosing strict locked character classes that limit what you can do. However, we realized that in the world of Dragon Ball, every single character ultimately wants to become the ultimate multi-talented warrior. Which, I mean, that's fair, it's Dragon Ball. Because of that, we shifted completely to an addition style system. Instead of locking you into a narrow archetype, players have the absolute freedom to dynamically swap different skills, attributes, and styles in and out, empowering them to craft whatever type of custom warrior they can imagine. This next bit over here, when they say they'll be able to dynamically swap different skills, I seriously doubt that they're talking about in-game. I'm pretty sure it's like once you're like back at West City or in your room or something like that, because you got a room this time around, you'll be able to switch quickly like with presets or something like that. But what would be really insane, because you guys did see the soul exchange mechanic where you become a different character, gain new skills, things of that nature. It would be pretty insane if you could do a preset swap mid-mission. Maybe not mid-encounter, not mid-fight, but let's say you fight an enemy, you get midway through the mission where you can like heal yourselves and re-up on items or something like that nature, and in that area you can also swap skills. Like for example, if you're doing a run and you gotta fight Broly and the boss fight has multiple stages, in the first round you possibly want to be heavy into attacks, you know, because the first round is the easiest round, and in that last round he's doing these massive mega AoE abilities, and having blast attacks are not as useful, so you switch on to a more defensive preset. And you could like switch things up like that mid mission. That would be insane if they did something like that. Yeah. Oh my god. Now I'm excited. But you know, I think this is a good place to end the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you as excited for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3? Because I know I am. While you're down there, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Let's hit 500 subs.